Jax's impossible heist, Kane had cooked up another one of his ridiculous games, and this time it was all about thievery. "Welcome, one and all, to Kane's impossible heist," he announced grandly, floating above the circus. "Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to break into the vault and steal the gem at its center. But beware, there are traps everywhere." Jax grinned ear to ear. "A heist? Oh, I'm in. Nothing can stop me." Pomni, however, was wary. "There's always a catch, isn't there, Kane?" Kane gave a coy smile. "Perhaps, but where's your sense of adventure?" The vault sat in the middle of a towering funhouse, a maze of mirrors, traps, and tricks. The prize? A glowing gem said to be the source of unimaginable power. Jax was already planning his moves. As the group entered the funhouse, Jax took the lead, confident in his ability to outsmart whatever was thrown at him. The walls shifted around them, mirrors reflecting distorted versions of themselves, as if mocking their every move. "Watch and learn," Jax said with a wink, sprinting ahead. The first trap triggered instantly, a series of sliding doors that sealed off various parts of the funhouse. Jax leapt through the first one, narrowly escaping. He noticed Pomni and Agatha stuck behind a wall. "Jax!" Pomni called out, banging on the barrier. "Don't leave us behind." He smirked. "Relax. We'll find a way to let you in." Meanwhile, Kinger, who had somehow gotten separated from the group, was wandering aimlessly through the mirrors. "Hello? Is anyone out there?" His voice echoed around him, but every reflection looked like someone else, warped versions of himself laughing in the distance. "I really don't like this," he muttered. Back in the vault room, Jax faced the final challenge, an elaborate laser grid protecting the gem. He cracked his knuckles. "This is too easy." With a dramatic leap, Jax somersaulted through the lasers, barely missing them. But when he grabbed the gem, the room exploded in lights and alarms. Kane appeared out of nowhere, laughing hysterically. "Gotcha!" Jax stood frozen as the walls began to close in on him. "Wait, what? This isn't supposed to happen!" Pomni and Ragatha burst through just in time, having found a way around the barriers. "What did you do, Jax?" Pomni shouted, seeing the chaos unfolding. "Maybe I underestimated the traps," Jax admitted, trying to back away from the collapsing walls. Ragatha spotted a glowing switch on the wall and, without hesitation, flipped it. The lasers powered down, and the walls retreated. Jax gave a sheepish grin. "See? All part of the plan." Pomni crossed her arms. "Sure it was. Pomni's infinite loop." One morning in the digital circus, Pomni woke up with a sense of unease, though she wasn't sure why. Her surroundings seemed normal. Well, as normal as a digital circus could be. She found her friends in the central tent, where Kane floated above them, looking suspiciously gleeful. "Good morning, everyone," Kane chimed with a wide grin. "Today, I've prepared a brand new experience for you all. A delightful little riddle to test your patience." Pomni narrowed her eyes. "What kind of riddle?" "An adventure," Kane declared. "But there's a twist. You'll be facing the same thing over and over until you solve the riddle. Exciting, isn't it?" Before anyone could argue, the tent collapsed around them, and suddenly Pomni found herself in a strange, surreal landscape, a never-ending spiral of red and white stripes. The air around her shimmered as if reality itself were bending. "What's happening?" Ragatha asked, looking around in confusion. Pomni glanced at her. "We need to solve the riddle before this gets worse." As the group walked forward, the path beneath their feet twisted and looped back on itself in confusing ways. Soon enough, they ended up right where they started. Jax, never one to lose his cool, leaned against a nearby column. "It's just a maze. We'll be out in no time." But no matter which direction they tried, they always ended up back in the same place. A spinning circus platform with glowing lights and loud carnival music that repeated endlessly. "This is maddening," Zubul muttered, kicking a nearby wall, which caused it to flicker as if it were a glitch. "It's like we're stuck in a loop." Pomni's frustration mounted with every step. There's got to be a clue. What was that riddle Kane mentioned? Gangle, nervously clutching her mask, chimed in. I think the answer might be right in front of us." Suddenly, Kinger, who had been unusually quiet, pointed to the sky. The pattern of the sky, it's repeating in time with the music. Everyone stared upward. The stars overhead flashed in sync with the carnival tune that had been playing on loop. Pomni's eyes widened. That's it. The music and the stars, they're the key. We've been walking in the wrong rhythm. The group fell silent, focusing on the beat of the music and the flashing of the stars. With each step, they followed the rhythm, and soon enough, the path changed beneath them. The loop was broken. As they emerged from the spiral, Kane appeared, clapping wildly. "Bravo, bravo! You figured it out! I knew you were smart enough to break the infinite loop." Jax shrugged. "Wasn't that hard?" Pomni sighed in relief. "Next time, just tell us the rules up front, Kane." But Kane only chuckled mischievously. Where's the fun in that? The Ferris wheel of fate. The digital circus had a new attraction. A massive Ferris wheel that reached far into the sky, its lights flickering in an eerie rhythm. Kane, as always, was thrilled to show off his new creation. Step right up! Step right up! Today we ride the Ferris wheel of fate." Pomni was suspicious. "What does it do?" she asked, eyeing the enormous wheel with caution. Kane giggled, his eyes twinkling. "Oh, nothing too wild. It's just a regular ride. Until it isn't. Each time the wheel stops, the person in that cart gets a surprise. Could be good, could be not so good." Ragatha, always the optimist, jumped into the nearest cart. "Come on, it'll be fun," she said, waving the others over. Kinger nervously hovered nearby, muttering something about how rides weren't safe. Despite their reservations, Pomni, Zubul, and Kinger eventually climbed aboard the massive contraption. As the wheel creaked to life, they soared high above the circus grounds, the landscape sprawling below in all its chaotic glory. For a few moments, it was peaceful, until the wheel stopped with a loud clunk. The cart containing Ragatha started to glow. Kane appeared in the sky, as though watching over them like some twisted game master. "Oh, what's behind door number 1? Suddenly, Ragatha's cart flipped upside down, but instead of falling, she floated in place, her arms flailing wildly. "What is happening?" "Anti-gravity mode," Kane cackled. The wheel started again, this time stopping at Zubul's cart. Zubul, always the unlucky one, was immediately surrounded by an ominous cloud of purple smoke. From the mist emerged a swarm of tiny, buzzing creatures. "Kane, what did you do?" "Oh, nothing much. Just a swarm of cute little digital bees," Kane said nonchalantly. Zubul frantically swatted at the bees, scowling. "You and your games." As the wheel continued to spin, it stopped on Pomni, who braced herself for something awful. But instead, a shower of confetti exploded in her cart, along with a gentle tune playing from nowhere. "Lucky you! You got the celebration cart!" Kane cheered. "Yeah, great," Pomni muttered, brushing confetti from her head. Finally, the wheel stopped at Kinger's cart. The king, already anxious, nearly jumped out when his cart began to rumble violently. Before anyone could say a word, his cart shot up into the air like a rocket, disappearing into the clouds. "Kinger, where are you going?" Pomni called after him. "I'll bring him back later." Kane waved them off. "He'll be fine." Probably. The Ferris wheel finally stopped. The ride over. But the circus residents were left shaken, and Kinger was still floating somewhere in the digital sky. Kane's color chaos. One ordinary day in the circus. Well, as ordinary as things can be, Kane decided to spice up their lives with a new game. With a snap of his fingers, he changed the rules of reality in the digital circus, turning the entire environment into a kaleidoscope of shifting colors and patterns. The sky turned to neon polka dots, the ground to vibrant plaid, and even the characters themselves glowed in ridiculous colors. Pomni looked down, horrified to find her normally monochrome outfit turned into a blinding rainbow. "Kane, what did you do to us?" she shouted, trying to shield her eyes from her own reflection. "This, my dear Pomni, is my latest game, Color Chaos." Kane floated through the air, his toothy grin wide as he admired his work. "You'll all need to find the single object that remains its original color. If you don't, you'll be stuck like this forever." Jax, the smug bunny, rolled his eyes, crossing his arms. "So we just gotta find a thing that's not flashing like a strobe light? Easy." But as the group began their search, it became clear this wasn't going to be a simple task. Everything was blinding, pulsing, and changing constantly. They split up, each heading in different directions of the circus to search for the object that could return things to normal. Pomni teamed up with Zubul, who looked at their patchwork self in complete disgust. "I look like someone spilled paint on a glitch," Zubul complained. "I think you look kinda cool," Gangle tried to say in her usual awkward optimism, but Zubul wasn't buying it. As they searched, Jax wandered lazily through the landscape. He stumbled across what looked like a small, unassuming rock, completely gray. With a shrug, he kicked it, only to watch in shock as it suddenly split open, revealing a massive Technicolor worm that shot rainbow sparks in every direction. "Of course it's never easy," he muttered, dodging the sparks. Meanwhile, Pomni, Zubul, and Gangle found themselves trapped in a bizarre maze of mirrors. Each mirror warped their appearances, making Pomni's head 5 times larger, and Zubul stretch out like a slinky. "Kane, you maniac!" Pomni yelled into the void. Finally, after hours of bizarre encounters, Zubul had turned into a glittering disco ball at one point. The group reunited. Gangle, surprisingly, had found the solution. She had a small white handkerchief that hadn't changed at all. She timidly waved it. I think this is it." Kane reappeared in a flash. "Well done," he exclaimed, returning the world to normal. "You've beaten the game, but don't worry, I have more tricks up my sleeve." Jax groaned. "Great, can't wait." The Lost Time Capsule. One day, while exploring the digital circus's forgotten corners, Pomni stumbled upon an old, dusty time capsule hidden beneath a pile of digital debris. Excitedly, she brought it to the center of the circus, where Zill, Kinger, and Jax gathered around. Zill's eyes widened with nostalgia. "This time capsule is from the early days of the digital circus," he said. "It's filled with memories and secrets from our past." They decided to open the capsule together. Inside, they found old photographs, vintage circus costumes, and a mysterious glowing orb. The orb seemed to hum with energy, and Jax immediately began examining it. The orb emitted a soft, melodic tune, and suddenly, the scene around them started to shift. They were transported back in time to the early days of the digital circus. The tent was simpler, the technology was rudimentary, but the excitement was the same. The team saw younger versions of themselves rehearsing for their first big show. They witnessed the dedication and creativity that went into building the circus from the ground up. As they watched, they realized how much they had grown and how much their circus had evolved. After a heartwarming trip down memory lane, the orb guided them back to the present. They returned to their current digital realm, filled with a renewed sense of pride and appreciation for their journey. They knew that no matter how much things changed, the spirit of the digital circus would always remain.